People often said that Takayashiki Rua was no ordinary girl. She was known as one of the most popular young idols in the country and also the granddaughter of Takayashiki Tao, the powerful chairman of the Takayashiki Group, a corporate empire that practically ruled Japan. Because of this, she lived like a real-life princess, surrounded by wealth, fame, and influence. By contrast, her childhood friend Suzuki Kazuma was known to be painfully ordinary. Classmates referred to him as gloomy, plain, friendless, and, as they liked to joke, hopelessly maidenless. His only notable trait, people said, was that he had grown up beside Rua. For years he had lived in that role, trailing in her shadow like some kind of loyal attendant. Yet those who knew him well understood that he never wanted such a life. All he longed for was something simple: genuine friends, a girlfriend, and an ordinary existence unaffected by her overwhelming presence. He once tried to express these desires to Rua, hoping she would understand, but everything spiraled in the worst possible direction. Rua had replied with venom, asking him if he was stupid and reminding him coldly that he should know his place as a worthless loser. According to her, his only value in life came from being her childhood friend, nothing more. Every point of self-worth he possessed, she said, had already been used up filling that single role. Those words, "know your place," echoed in his mind like a curse. She had repeated them to him for years, and he had carried them like a burden on his back. Even so, he still wished for a normal life. That wish resurfaced in the spring of his first year of high school. One afternoon, he received a message from Rua asking him to meet her at the station the next day at 3 p.m. She said that she and some friends planned to go to karaoke and asked if he wanted to join. From her message, he figured that Ya must have been Hiyagi Ayaka, the flashy girl from school he had never really spoken to. At first, he wondered why they invited someone like him. Then the message mentioned his wish for friends, and even a girlfriend, saying that joining their group would be a good first step. That was all he needed to cling to hope. He believed, with shining eyes, that this might finally be his chance to change. Kazuma dressed as neatly as he could. He even visited a barber to try a fresh haircut, thinking it was finally the moment to reinvent himself. But when he entered the karaoke room, the truth hit him instantly. Everyone burst into cruel laughter, mocking him for showing up. They ridiculed his haircut, joked about how he smelled like a hair salon, and made fun of his new jacket. Rua laughed the loudest, telling them mockingly to stop teasing him, because he had clearly tried his best. Only Ayaka seemed unamused, sitting quietly while the others jeered. Kazuma said nothing. He simply stood there as the laughter washed over him, realizing that the entire invitation had been a setup. Rua then stood and asked why he was standing there so awkwardly. She cheered him on, telling him to cry in front of everyone because she had bet 10,000 yen that he would. Ignoring her mockery, he whispered a single question: what exactly he had done wrong to deserve this? With a devilish smile, Rua told him the answer was obvious. He was her slave. She encouraged him to struggle and put on a good show. Then she admitted, almost proudly, that she had always hated the idea of him being her childhood friend. Kazuma froze. He felt something shatter, like chains snapping one by one. With emptied, expressionless eyes, he looked through her and said he felt the same. He suggested they cut ties. Rua could not comprehend what she had heard. She shouted that a loser like him had no right to talk back. But Kazuma calmly reminded her that she was the one who had been complaining. She insisted that she alone had the right to hate him, but he was finished listening. He clenched his fist and slammed it into the table, splitting it with a force no one expected from him. Then he turned toward the door, saying it was settled, and walked out without another word. The room fell silent. Rua's friends tried to console her, calling Kazuma lame and telling her not to worry. Ayaka pointed out, stunned, that he had actually broken the table. Some refused to believe any human could do that. Rua, trembling with rage, shouted that she would never forgive him for ending their friendship. Kazuma, meanwhile, felt strangely refreshed. He wondered why he had allowed her to control him for so long. Now that the ties were cut, he preferred to face high school alone rather than sell his soul to someone who treated him like a beast of burden. For the first time, he felt free. That same night, the story shifted to Rua's grandfather, Takayashiki Tao. He was just reviewing documents with his usual stern demeanor. However, once Rua entered the room, calling out to him, his expression softened immediately. Rua complained to him that Kazuma had been mean to her and said he wanted to cut their friendship. This shocked her cousin, Takayashiki Rua, who asked if Rua was telling the truth. Rua admitted it reluctantly but defended herself by saying she had only teased him, even after confessing she had called him her slave and said being his childhood friend was the worst. Kakura pointed out that anyone would be upset after hearing something like that, but Rua insisted she was only joking. Jealousy began to bubble up as she explained that she became furious when she saw Kazuma trying to make friends, or worse, looking for a girlfriend. She found the very idea ridiculous. She argued that since she was always by his side, he shouldn't want to be close to anyone else. Kikura suggested that wanting friends was completely normal, but Rua screamed that it wasn't. She insisted that only she understood him and then, without hesitation, declared that she loved him. That declaration was all their grandfather needed to put the blame squarely on Kazuma. Kikura, however, was the only one who seemed to see things clearly. She urged Rua to apologize, but Rua refused and instead demanded that Kikura force Kazuma to apologize to her and confess his love, with a kiss included. Kikura nearly lost her composure at Rua's delusion. She then asked Tao point-blank whether he intended for Rua to marry Kazuma. He confirmed that he did, explaining that this was precisely why he had her teach Kazuma martial arts and leadership from an early age. He considered Kazuma a rare talent. Kikura agreed, saying she had never seen anyone like him. She recalled how Kazuma had always scored exactly average on purpose, so he would blend in while serving as Rua's perfect shadow. She explained that if Kazuma ever stopped suppressing himself and chose to aim higher, not just the school or the nation, but the entire world would feel the impact. She also revealed that Kazuma had been extremely popular with girls since childhood, to the point that many had transferred schools because of him, though he never realized it. Rua beamed proudly at this, calling him her Kazuma. Tao added that this was why Kazuma was worthy of inheriting his company. Kikura, however, sensed that now that Kazuma had cut ties with Rua, he no longer needed to hold himself back, and she quietly waited for the moment when everything would spiral out of control. The following morning, tension rippled through the corridors of Teikai Academy. In the center of the hallway sat a single desk and chair, the desk that belonged to Kazuma. Students whispered that this was his punishment for daring to oppose Rua Takayashiki. Given the academy's rigid hierarchy, most believed only an heiress like Rua could order something so humiliating. Teikai Academy was no ordinary school. It was a training ground for S-class talent, a place where the elite of Japan, athletes, artists, entertainers, and scholars were recruited under full scholarships. The building itself belonged to Rua's family, and the academy operated on a strict caste system. Rua sat comfortably at the top. Kazuma, glancing at his displaced desk, remained calm. He weighed his options. He could drag the desk back into class and endure ridicule, or he could report this to the staff. But since Rua's grandfather controlled the entire institution, complaints were pointless. So instead of responding the way everyone expected, he wrote a message on the paper taped to the chair stating that he would be studying on his own. Since the order came from Princess Rua herself, he asked that the school consider him present. Students murmured in surprise, astonished by his clear-headed defiance. Without fuss, Kazuma walked away and headed for a more peaceful location, the hidden underground library, a spot so obscure that even many teachers didn't know it existed. He was allowed entry because he was a regular, and the senior librarian trusted him. As he descended the stairs, Kazuma reflected on how he had always dreamed of a normal life. Now that he had cut ties with Rua, he doubted he could make friends easily or find a girlfriend. Gripping the doorknob, he told himself he simply wanted to live quietly on his own. But when he opened the door, he was startled to find a girl inside. That girl was Minato Aman, a voice actress, although he did not recognize her immediately. She was startled too, bowing apologetically for shouting earlier. Kazuma apologized back, explaining that he should have knocked. When he asked if she had heard about this secret spot from the head of the library committee, she nodded. He decided to step outside so she could finish changing. After a few minutes, she invited him back in. Feeling awkward, Kazuma asked why she had been changing clothes in a hidden library of all places. Aman explained that she needed a quiet location to rehearse singing and dancing. She was preparing for an upcoming debut event as a voice actress, though she confessed she was not very popular. Kazuma also noticed her large portable mirror, clear evidence of her dedication. Curious, he asked why she wasn't in class. Her eyes lowered. That morning, she said, she had arrived only to find her desk pushed into the hallway with a sign reading, "No seat for you." Kazuma froze. It was the exact humiliation he had experienced. Before he could speak, his phone buzzed repeatedly. Messages from Rua. She demanded to know where he was, asked if he had watched her latest video, and wondered if she should reveal his name to her fans so they could track him down. She told him she might forgive him if he carried his desk back to class and begged. The look of disgust on his face made Aman pause. Kazuma regained his composure and turned his attention back to her. If she was truly a Teikai scholarship student, he asked himself, why was she experiencing the same harassment? Aman confessed she wasn't popular at her agency. She believed her plain appearance and soft voice made her unsuitable for the limelight. Kazuma disagreed, saying that although her bangs hid her face, her voice sounded cute. His unexpected compliment made her blush, though she quickly denied it. She compared herself to Rua, explaining that fans had already attacked her online after Rua's livestream. She said she didn't choose to work with Rua. The agency had decided she would be the supporting role behind Rua's spotlight. Kazuma suspected Rua had orchestrated the desk incident out of jealousy, especially because their unit debut would place them side by side. He tried to explain this, but Aman insisted she understood her place. She was the supporting role, and she did not want to drag anyone down. Her determination struck him. She had been practicing since morning, fueled by genuine passion rather than pride or status. Kazuma admired her dedication, offering to keep her company and provide feedback, though he warned he was just an amateur. Her face brightened, and she took his hand gratefully, saying she would count on him. Kazuma, flustered by her closeness, realized something. This girl was much cuter than Rua could ever hope to be. Lunch break finally rolled around, and the moment it did, Kazuma's thoughts drifted to Minato. She'd been practicing non-stop since early morning, pushing herself so hard he worried she'd collapse from dehydration. So he grabbed a drink and headed her way, only to hear someone calling his name from behind. "Hey, Kazuma, where have you been all day? Skipping classes now?" He didn't even need to look. That shrill, overconfident voice belonged to none other than the school's self-proclaimed princess, Rua. Rua stomped toward him dramatically, launching into her usual monologue. "Why are you ignoring me? You blocked me on Messenger. Just so you know, no one, and I mean no one, ignores Rua-sama. Or is it that my face is too beautiful for you to look at? Embarrassed?" He just walked past her. Rua's offended gasp was almost comical, and before she could escalate, someone else butted in. It wasn't her. It was a delinquent-looking boy glaring at Kazuma. This was Asano, the baseball team's future star, a scholarship athlete who apparently had nothing better to do than orbit around Rua like some loyal pig. Kazuma's only thought, if he has time to tail Rua everywhere, he should be training. Maybe take a page from Minato's dedication. Asano's face darkened. "What's that look? You mocking me?" Without warning, he swung a punch, but Kazuma had moved long before the fist reached him. Asano blinked in confusion. "I threw the punch. Didn't I? Why didn't I feel anything?" He spun around and froze. Kazuma was already behind him. A chill ran down Asano's spine. When did he get there? Didn't I hit him? Did I miss? How weak am I? Kazuma tilted his head casually. "What's wrong, Asano? Losing your edge?" That did it. Asano's anger boiled over, and he drew back for another punch. But Rua suddenly dove between them. "Stop it!" Asano faltered immediately, almost tripping over himself. Rua pointed a finger at him. "Only I get to mess with Kazu seriously. You don't lay a finger on him unless I say so. Know your place." Asano, hopelessly smitten with her, caved on the spot. Kazuma, however, gave Rua a cold, gleaming stare. She blushed. "What is it, Kazu?" He stepped closer and said in an icy tone, "Don't flatter yourself. Nobody, absolutely nobody, has the right to bully me. I don't care who they are." Rua flinched. Even she wasn't ready for that. "Just leave me alone," he finished. She sank to the ground as her classmates rushed to comfort her. "What's wrong, Ruahime? What is that guy's problem?" But Rua was barely listening. Heart beating like a drum, she thought. Kazu was so cool. Hours passed as she practiced through the morning into lunchtime. She nearly collapsed from exhaustion at one point, prompting Kazuma to catch her in his arms. She thanked him warmly, saying his support had helped her more than he realized. He brushed it off, pretending it was nothing, and redirected her attention to technique. He noticed her spin transitions were unsteady and suggested she walk back to center instead. She felt that wouldn't look good. Kazuma then proposed she jump back in a single motion, demonstrating, without thinking, a flawless mid-air flip. Aman stared in disbelief, reminding him normal people could not do that. Kazuma awkwardly changed the subject, pointing out her frequent slouch. He suggested she embrace it in a stylistic way, perhaps like a purring cat. She shyly played along, posing for him with adorable cat gestures. He struggled to maintain composure. When he suggested adding cat ears and a tail to match the idea, she hesitated, saying it wouldn't suit their official performance. Kazuma asked gently whether she was truly content with being overshadowed, but before she could answer deeply, she mentioned wanting to practice acting instead, her true passion. She wanted to become a voice actress for anime roles. Her enthusiasm impressed him. When she asked if he had dreams of his own, he admitted he wanted nothing more than to be ordinary. She told him sincerely that she believed he could achieve it. Feeling closer, she tried to ask whether he would. Before she could finish, the door burst open. Rua had arrived. Rua loudly demanded to know why Kazuma was with that trash voice actress. She hurled insults, calling Amon stupid, ugly, and unworthy. When Aman apologized and said it was her fault, Rua lost it, especially when Aman addressed him by his first name, Kazuma. Rua grabbed Amon by the collar, shouting that she had no right to say his name and must call him Suzuki instead. She tore her bangs upward, expecting to reveal an ugly face, only to freeze when she saw Aman's striking eyes. Infuriated and insecure, Rua tried to tape Aman's bangs back down. Kazuma intervened sharply, demanding that Rua stop. He reminded her they were supposed to be in the same entertainment unit. Rua dismissed that, insisting Aman was only background support and therefore could be treated however she pleased. Kazuma retaliated, explaining that Aman trained every single day to be good enough to stand beside Rua. She should not get in Aman's way. Rua could not understand why he defended Aman so fiercely when she and Kazuma were supposed to be childhood friends. Kazuma responded that he sided with people who worked hard, not arrogant pigs. Rua froze, shaken by the venom in his words. He told her that calling her cruelty jokes didn't excuse the harm she caused and that she needed to grow up. He added that she was the one who needed to know her place, not him. Rua trembled from the force of his anger. Kazuma then turned to Aman, saying it was time to leave. As they walked out, Rua shouted desperately that she was cuter than Aman and could never lose to a trash-tier voice actress. But they were already gone. Outside, Aman lowered her head and apologized, thinking she had triggered the confrontation. Kazuma reassured her she did nothing wrong. In fact, the situation gave him an idea to throw Rua off balance by exploiting her oversized pride. He called it Operation Aman Dance. Kazuma brought Aman to a convenience store and handed her a stylish black cat ear hairpin. He asked if she had a YouTube channel and suggested she upload a cat-themed dance wearing the ears. It would attract attention. Aman doubted anyone would watch. Her channel barely had 40 subscribers. Kazuma told her to trust him. He then asked her to lift her bangs in the video because she was genuinely cute. The thought terrified her. She confessed that hiding behind her bangs helped her cope with anxiety. Her agency had never told her to change it either, likely because they viewed her as background material beside Rua. Kazuma found this infuriating. He thought she should have been a solo act from the start. Aman revealed she would become one soon. After the upcoming event with Rua, the unit would be disbanded. Kazuma was disgusted at the industry's treatment of her. Aman admitted she felt it was impossible to compete with someone like Rua, someone with power, beauty, and overwhelming fan support. She wondered if going against such a person was even allowed. Kazuma finally understood the root of her insecurity. Aman wasn't lacking confidence because of who she was. Her environment had crushed it. She had been surrounded by people terrified of losing status and eager to drag others down. He quietly told her she could call him Kazuma. Her eyes sparkled, and she said she would be happy if he called her Aman in return. Reinvigorated, Aman prepared for her video. Aman uploaded the video, introducing herself cheerfully as she performed the Aman dance on a small channel with only 41 subscribers. She completed the routine with surprising athleticism. Kazuma thought the video was adorable. Though some hate comments came from Rua's fans, real viewers also appeared. He checked Rua's latest content only for research, not affection. Rua rambled dramatically online, refusing to say Kazuma's name and pretending her emotional breakdowns were acting practice. Despite the theatrics, Rua's channel gained thousands of views in hours. Meanwhile, Aman's video had around 52 views after 2 hours. But Kazuma wasn't done. Kazuma was the vice leader of a large mobile game clan online. He quietly promoted the video among his digital network. Within days, Aman's video surpassed 500,000 views. Aman was shocked, wondering what Kazuma had done. He insisted it was her hard work, not his influence, that made the video successful. The day of the event finally arrived. A large crowd gathered to see Rua's performance, though the audience did not stop at idle fans. Reporters, photographers, students, and curious viewers packed the venue. Rua entered the building with a smug expression, wearing her cat ears proudly as if she had already won.